breath. Really deep breath and exhale. And then I want you to do that again. I want you to do it to where you feel your body lifting. Then you settle again. And this next time that you inhale, I want you to center on one word, one thing, one hope, one dream. And inhale. And exhale. This time, I want you to close your eyes, envisioning the outcome of your word, your hope, your dream. Inhale. Exhale. And again, inhale. And exhale. Amen. Namaste. However you do it. All right, friends. Well, since we are all here now back together in our right space and our right minds, and we've got a little bit of peace, let's go ahead and shift. So I am Coach D. Nicole. That is my favorite name or thing to be called. I also like being called TT. So, you know, but yeah, so I'm Coach D. Nicole. I recently graduated from seminary. I pastor a church as well. And what I'll present to you today is going to be a combination of those various walks of life. So coaching has its own mindset. And of course, then the Christian side of lives or the spiritual side of lives has its own mindset. And sometimes these things intersect. Sometimes they seem to be at odds with one another. So as I present this to you, I want you to grab what you can, honey. And whatever you cannot grab, just leave it. Okay, that's fine. Somebody else will catch that. Somebody else will pick it up for themselves. I have been coaching now since 2014. I used to be a business analyst. And so I come with a background that is diverse and I've experienced many things. I travel a lot. So that's another element of what I'm going to share with you today, especially as it relates to those of us who have a background of Christianity or any other faith. I say so because as we come into I like to call it post-pandemic world, but it's not post-pandemic. We are still very much mid-pandemic. So as we kind of transition into being more mindful and aware of what mental health means for all communities, I just want you to cater how you listen today to the space where you need to cater it to. And not just the spaces that we have left or the spaces that we're presently in, but the spaces that you might be going to sometime in the future. So I'm going to speak to you today generally about mindfulness. All right. And I have 3 points because I am a pastor. So your 3 points, and I'm going to tell you what they are because it's going to help you take your notes. All right. So as we speak about mindfulness, the first point that I want you to focus on, or you put at the top of your page, all right, is alignment. And then if you have another page or another section, however you do your notes, that's your business, then it's going to be association. All right. And then the third point that I'm going to work with us through is awareness. All right. Alignment, association, and awareness. All right. Now, the other thing I'm going to tell you before I begin is, honey, I like feedback. And as you are speaking, I want to see your comments. If something hits you, you can say, ouch. Or if something agrees with your spirit, you can say, amen. I like the amens. You can say yes, you know, however you want to do it. But I want this to be engaging so I and Heather and Ariel will know what resonates with you and what is the material that needs to be presented in the future so that they can, you know, give us what we need. You always give people what they want. All right. So let's get started. The first thing I want to speak to you about as it relates to mindfulness is the awareness that mindfulness extends beyond the mind. All right. Now, the interesting thing about that is you think, well, it's simply mindfulness. It cannot extend beyond the mind. It seems to be contradictory. But I want to share with you that mindfulness incorporates our minds, our bodies, and our souls, right? A person who is mindful is not simply, keeping everything as a heady conversation. It's not just about your brain power. It's not just about intelligence. It's not just about your consciousness, because the more consciousness or woke we become, then the more we become responsible for our bodies, right? The more we also become responsible for our souls. And so you can think about soul alignment as something that might be your faith, okay? It might be your spiritual practice. It might be your meditation. Soul alignment can even be your peace, right? I like my peace. I take a Sabbath like Jesus did. You understand? I don't know your business, but that's what I do because it helps me stay balanced, right? To make sure that I'm not just on the hamster wheel constantly, right? Sometimes, y'all, we're going too much. So mindfulness is sometimes not using your mind, right? Sometimes it's not using your mind. Sometimes mindfulness is putting your mind at ease, putting it at rest, okay? And so just think about that, mind, body, and soul. How has your mindfulness helped your body, right? How has your being aware of yourself helped your soul? And in that way, it should perk up your spirit, honey, just like mine. Okay. So I'm going to talk to you about some of these points too. When we consider the mind, we consider the mind as not just one element of one individual. It ought to be inclusive, right? When I consider my mental health, I also should consider yours too. You know, I was speaking with my sister-in-law who's in Alaska all by herself. Now, of course, there are people in Alaska, but because I'm not there, I'm like, oh my gosh, she's by herself. She doesn't have anybody. And so I'm asking her, hey, how is your mental health? Right? Sometimes being displaced, as some of us experienced during the pandemic, it impacts your mental health. So you got to be aware that when your body goes to another place, it could impact your mind. Come on, okay? Y'all understand? Sometimes when you get that dream job, right? You think, oh, this is going to help my peace. I'm going to be so excited. But then your body gets into a place that really is puts you ill at ease. You are no longer in peaceful situations sometimes because you're in proximity to people who stress you out. Okay. So just being mindful that our context really can change our condition. Write that down. Okay. So when we're speaking about alignment, I'm talking to you about where your mind is, where your body is, and how that impacts your soul, how your environment, your external things change your internal things. Okay. It matters. So be aware that sometimes it's not, oh, I'm going to think myself to peace, or I'm going to meditate myself to peace. Sometimes you got to fire people to peace, right? You got to, I'm not saying quit your job. I'm not saying that. It's you don't do that. Okay, that don't do that. But I am saying there are people at your job or in your workplaces, honey, there are clients that you need to fire. Okay, some of them don't pay us enough. You understand? As a pastor, I can't fire the people, but I definitely, I go into the boat and I go to sleep. I go into the mountain like they did, right? So just be mindful that sometimes, like I said, where your body is, if it's proximate to stressors, then mindfulness means I have to be self-aware enough to remove myself from certain situations, certain conditions, certain people, places, and things. Okay. I want to add something here. We live in a world right now where we are so big into self-care. You want to get your nails done, want to get your hair done, okay? You want to be slayed. You want to go on all the trips. We are no longer just going to Orlando. If you're from Florida, we're no longer just going to Atlanta. We've been going to the Bahamas. Now we're going beyond the Bahamas. Some of y'all been in Dubai. Right. I'm so excited for y'all going to Dubai and all these other places. But when I think about what self-care really is, I have been prompted to ask myself, is self-care equivalent to soul care? You see how I paused right there? Because that should have hit your soul. Your soul should have said, ouch. There you go. Come on, Heather. There it is. Your soul should have said, ouch. That last time you got your nails done, you were in there stressed out because they were getting all into your cuticles wrong. That's not self-care. That might be a little self-care, but honey, when I look at these manicure and pedicure bills, that is not self-care. I don't know what has got to happen with the nail care industry, honey. They have quadrupled these prices. So all I'm saying is the time that we're spending doing like this external adornment, honey, is it adorning your soul? Is it helping your soul? Or is it stressing you out? So for the past June, I've probably been home for 10 days in all of June. And so you think, oh, it's travel, it's wonderful, it's awesome. But then I have to ask myself, honey, is this soul care? Because when I get to look at my receipts, I'm like, ooh, I don't know about this. It's stressing me out. So it made me think it may not be that you need to be gone or hashtag flued out, like you all, the young folks like to say, because I'm old these days. But sometimes you may just need to stay at home. Staying at home is free and it's soul care because you don't have to be stressed out about your bank account, your bills, or your babies. Okay? Bank accounts, bills, babies, those things are important. And so soul care means being mindful of how some of your receipts, some of our expenditures are not helping our soul at all. Are they helping yourself? Maybe. Maybe you feel good, you feel affirmed, you feel cute, but that bank account is ugly. Okay, I don't mean to be in your business, but I might be. I don't mind being in there. So just be mindful, you all, that sometimes the expenditures we're making that we think are really giving us life and they're really keeping us excited are not really helping us out. And not really helping us out. So when you want to be in alignment, when you want to be mindful, you have to think about mind, body, soul. Let's add finances, okay, because they matter, right? Let's add that to it. So one thing I just want to end this on is just being knowledgeable that if you have this type of alignment, when you can get everything in sync, this type of mindfulness or alignment is going to help a person be self-aware, which then prompts me to then be aware of other people, right? I can now ask questions of others because I have asked those questions of myself, right? And this is why it's important, this next point about association, that when I take care of myself good, honey, I can take care of you a little bit better. Okay. And so this goes back to, like, my cousin is a Delta employee. She used to be a flight attendant and she's now on the flight security and safety video and all that. And you know how they say, put on your mask first. And in these circles, we always use that same example. And yet we will leave this conference and not do it. We will leave this space and still try to take care of someone else better than we take care of ourselves. But when I think about it, if you love yourself full, then you will easily overflow into others. You no longer even have to worry about pouring into someone because pouring can be work. Come on, my mental health counselors, my therapists, my coaches, my pastors, pouring can be work. But if I love myself full, then honey, you're going to get every good thing I got. You understand? And it's easier to do that. So then how I associate with others is going to come from a place of real soul security, real soul health, mind health, mental health. And when my mental health is a little shaky, I can also say, hey, I need help. Why? Because now I have put myself in a space where I am aligned with my own being, right? I'm aligned with my own being. So when I say that, I also want us to know that it is irresponsible to be so mindful of myself that I am not mindful of you. Okay. I have no regard for another person. Okay. So this is this call to action for everybody who lives like they are an island. Hey y'all. Right? Everybody who doesn't like people. I don't like them. I don't want to, or when I invite you on the trip, you're like, who all gonna be there? This is for the who all gonna be there crew. Yes, there you go. Calling them out, the who all gonna be there crew. Yes, you don't want to be with any old body. But when you are mindful, I'm one of these people's like, I don't care who's coming. You're not gonna mess up my trip. And that's how life should be. I don't care who's gonna be there, honey. I'll be there, right? So that we can associate ourselves with my goodness, my good things, my desires, my hope, the things that you prayed for in the breath prayer, and not be worried about if Ariel is going to bother you on the trip. She might not. I don't know. Okay. So when you think about it, association means that I am mindful of myself and I'm also mindful of you, but I'm mindful of the good and the bad about you, so that I go back to getting my mental health and my mind, body, soul alignment together. If I need to remove myself from a space, I can, but that doesn't mean I write people off. Mindfulness should make us love each other better. It should make me have an account for people better. It should make me accountable for people better, right? So that we can then be better community for others, right? And so these things are important because I no longer have to be an island. When you can, become more aware of the value of people, you all, then, life can be easier, right? There is no reason that you have to start a business by yourself. Honey, get you a nice little friend. If you're a Heather, get you Ariel. If you're Ariel, get you a Heather, right? And you can do stuff together and get way more done with another person on your train than you can do by yourself. Many of us know that you wouldn't have a business, you wouldn't be a person, you wouldn't even be a good parent if you did not have help. So when we become aware of people and start taking care of ourselves better, now I can use you better too. I can have better regard for the value that you can bring to my life. And it also means that problems are no longer as huge as we usually make them. I can get past a little ripple in the relationship now that I have more peace within myself. Okay. So again, it's irresponsibly so mindful of ourselves that we are not mindful of other people. So when we become self-aware, I can become all aware. The more that I take good care of my soul, the more I can be truly concerned about your soul. I'm not simply worried about can you go on the trip. I'm worried about, okay, how's those finances? Do you need help? Can I help you pay for the trip? Right? Let's split some costs, right? How's your credit, right? And I'm saying all of these things because they are real life um, things for those of us who have desires, those of us who really want to live like a fluid out life, or those of us who want to climb. I call it the corporate totem pole, but now we have small business totem poles to climb. You want to reach your goals, but you still want to enjoy life. So you have to make sure that in your enjoying life, that you can be aware of others and help them along the way too. So I want to ask you all a few questions. I really want to know about how we have learned to be more responsible for others through mindfulness. Okay. And so that seems like a loaded question. I simply want you to answer it in the chat in a couple words, a phrase. How have you been more responsible for other people through your mindfulness? Hmm? Have you helped others maintain their health better? Have you helped others find their joy better? Have you helped your mom? I invite my mom to happy hour, even though she thinks that the only thing they do at happy hour is drinking. I'm like, Mom, you can get an appetizer. You know what I mean? So I want you to consider these things. How has your being intentional about your own mental health, helping someone else, how has that happened for you? Right? How has it increased your joy, your peace? Right? And I'm asking you this question because we live in a world presently where there's so much violence against people, right? And that is one to another, that is countries fighting, that's politics, that's race, that's religion, so on and so forth. But the more mindful you all we become, the better we can coexist. It's easier to live among people when I have taken care of myself. Okay. And I see your comments. Like when you are more mindful of your mental health, you can be aware of the mental health of others and helping getting people into to shape, right, and get their lives snatched, right? While we're out here trying to do our self-care and get ourselves snatched, is your life snatched, right? So, oh, I love this, to encourage others. Sometimes just being mindful helps you smile better. I remember this personal story. I used to be a person who would say, oh, I don't want to be around people. I only like two people. There was a space where I just like Heather, a space where I just like Ariel, a space where I just like my mama. And I realized it was because if my life was stressing me out, I could only have a capacity for a certain type of people, certain type of energy, and a certain type of season. And so once you get your peace and your balance, right? Once you catch your breath, it's amazing how much love can flow to you and through you, right? How much more you have to give other people. Why? Because you gave it to yourself first, right? How good you can be to another person because you're good to yourself. So, as I wrap up my commentary today, I want all of us to be mindful enough to allow your good health to impact my good health. Okay. Oh, I love this, Deidre. The ministry of presence. Sometimes it's a blessing to just sit with somebody. You don't got to talk. You don't have to lecture them, right? I'm good at a good lecture, right? But sometimes if you just sit with people, oh, honey, oh, honey. So as we do this, that really is a perfect transition into my final comments. We should learn through mindfulness that if I hurt, you hurt. We're all connected together. And if you hurt, I hurt as well. And so if we can help heal our own ills, our own stress, we can also help heal the stress of others, right? I want you to know as you leave my space today, this moment that I've shared with you, that mindfulness should be a soothing balm for our aching souls. Thank you so much for your time.